Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're going to be doing a small project from start to end. We're going to be creating a mug, okay, and we're going to be adding some textures and materials, lighting, camera, render and animation. We're going to start modeling my set. So first I'm going to just create a box, which is going to be my desk, for example, a wooden desk. So I'm just going to create any box. And underneath this box, I'm going to create a plane. So I'm going to go from the top view, going to make a big plane. That's going to be my limbo or my background. Just going to make sure that this plane goes underneath my box. And I went to edge faces, okay, F4 shortcut, added poly for this plane. I'm going to select all these edges, shift and drag to move it upward. Okay, so I'm gonna just copy this. I'm just gonna double click on this edge and I'm gonna create a chamfer, which is gonna make this background a bit rounded so it doesn't cast a corner. Okay, great. This background, I'm gonna make it color white. I can add a material, but in this case I'm not gonna add. So this is my set. Okay, I'm just gonna create a camera, which is gonna make sure it's gonna be something like that, where I can see everything. Perspective Control C to add a camera. So now this is gonna change into a camera. I'm gonna go back to perspective, shortcut is P, and this is my camera set in here. Okay, so if I want to see the camera view, I'm just gonna go to camera and I'm gonna make sure I select show save frames. So this is my view for now. It's not the perfect view, but I'm gonna fix it later on. I'm just gonna go back. Shift F is shortcut for show save frames. All right. So I'm just gonna go back. I'm gonna create a small model. I've got a reference, a very simple reference. I'm just gonna create something like that. It's gonna be black from the outside and red from the inside, or white and black, two different colors. With the handle, it's gonna be a different color. So I'm gonna go the easy way. Sorry. So I'm just gonna start with this cylinder. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure my cylinder stands over here. Maybe something like that. Maybe this is my size of the mug. Just gonna make sure that I have no subdivision or segments. Just gonna delete all my segments, and I'm gonna make it smoother. So I'm gonna make the circle a bit rounded, like 30. Great. Now I'm gonna edit poly. I'm gonna go to polygons. I'm gonna select this polygon and I'm gonna go to bevel or inset. Same thing. I'm gonna scale it down to have the thickness of the mug, something like that. And then I'm gonna extrude it downward all the way. I can check it from here all the way. Oops. Just gonna do undo. And I'm gonna go all the way down. Okay, so this is the thickness of the cup from down. Okay, so great. Now, I can just work around with the mug. So I'm gonna select all this loop, control all this loop, and I'm gonna chamfer them to have a rounded edge in here. So something like that. Okay, so it's not sharp anymore. I'm gonna do the same thing for the lower area. So I selected the inner part here and the inner part here. So what I did is just select all the edges and Alt deselect all the ones up. So I end up with the ones below. I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna go chamfer and I'm gonna chamfer this a bit more. Something like that. Okay, great. So now I have my mug. Great. So what I want to do is add a handle for that. I can do the handle in two different ways. One of the easiest way is just go to a teapot. Okay, add a bit of segments. Okay, and I can take this handle from the teapot from here. So I'm just uncheck the body, uncheck the handle, sorry, keep the handle, spout and lid, and I end up with this handle. I can just rotate this handle 90 degrees or 180 degrees, sorry, something like that. 180 degrees, and just gonna make it fit in its place. So I'm just gonna move it something like that, maybe. Okay, and from the side view, just want to make sure it's fit. Okay, so I can rotate it a bit. I'm just gonna move my pivot point to the center in here, so I can rotate from here. You can just move it from wherever you want, and something like that. Okay, I just have to make sure that this goes inside. Okay, sorry. Just gonna select these two, and I'm gonna go isolate. I can see them by themselves. And now I can just go to the handle, edit poly, and I can just fix these to make sure they fit quite good. Same thing in here. I'm just gonna make it fit in here, and I have to space these out slightly. Okay, I'm just doing a small adjustment. That's it. So I keep the handle kind of same kind of handle. Okay, so that's great. Now what I can do, I can just go in here and I attach these two elements to each other if I want, or if I don't want. Okay, so now they are attached, and I can add a turbo smooth to them to make sure everything is smooth and nice. So that's my first option. Great. I'm gonna keep this option. I like it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just copy this mug, and I'm gonna draw another mug which has a different color. Okay, and I'm gonna create another option in here. I'm gonna go edit poly element. I'm gonna select this element and delete it. Now I'm gonna create something else. Okay, instead of, it's gonna be the same mug, and I'm gonna create a torus. So from here, it's gonna create a torus. So this is kind of the handle. Okay, and I can just go in here and have my handle kind of like this. This is my hand. If I want it to be bigger, I can just go inside and make my outer radius or my inner radius bigger, maybe like that. And I'm sure that the half of it is out of the side. Edit polygons. I'm gonna select all these polygons and delete them. And now I ended up with this part. Okay, let's make sure it is centered, something like that. And this is it. So now I can just also align them together, make sure they are centered if I want to have it 100% centered. And if I want to attach them, I can attach them. In this case, I'm not going to attach them. I'm just going to keep them this way. I'm going to go turbo smooth to this one, and I'm going to go turbo smooth for this one because they're not attached. I'm going to do two turbo smooth. Okay, and I'm going to select them and give them same color. Great. So now I have two types of mug with two different handles. Okay, so I'm just going to go this downward. Okay, great. This is a straight mug. It's a simple mug. All right. Now I'm going to go to materials. First of all, what I want, if you see the reference that I got, it's two different materials. You can see from the outer side is black and the inner side is red with this top end, and the handle is a different, same color as the inside. So I'm going to do them the same way for both cases. Select this mug. I'm going to go in for material editor, make sure I'm working with, in my case, in modes compact material editor. If it's shown a bit different, such like slate material editor, just go modes compact material editor, so it'll be same like me. And I'm working with vray. So just select this material, click and drag, and drop it. Okay, so that's it. Just I'm gonna pause this. Okay, excuse me for that. I think my laptop was not in the electricity. All right, so I'm just gonna select this material and drop it out because it's an attached object. So all the objects gonna have the same material. In my case, I'm gonna have a black color. So something like that. I'm just not gonna make it 100% black. I'm just gonna give it, let's say, 2. Okay, a bit lighter color, or maybe 3. Just not very black. Okay, and I'm gonna give it reflection in my case because I want it to be reflective. All right, and I can give it a bit of glossiness if I want, for example 0.8 to make the reflection, if you see in here. Okay, this is 1, which is sharp reflections. If I go down, it's going to be a bit kind of a blurred reflection, which I like. Okay, which is great. That's it. That's going to be my main material. Now, if I want to go to give another material, because it's one attached object, so I have to go here, right click on here, convert to editable poly, and then I'm going to select polygons, and I'm going to select this part, doesn't matter which part, and I'm going to grow until the end of the lid. I think till here. Okay, and this part going to be something else with this element in here. So select the element, control, click to add this element, and that's going to be red. So I'm going to go to material again. I'm going to drop this new material to it and just make sure that this is going to be a red. Okay, whatever red you want, maybe a bit dark red. And I want it to be also reflective, the same kind of material with the same kind of reflection. Let's say 0.8, and that's it. Done. So now you can see that this is kind of mug I'm looking for. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. This is going to be a bit easier. Okay, I'm going to go material. I'm going to use the same materials. So I'm going to make this black. I'm going to make this red. Okay, so this is the part. It's easy. I don't have to add because it's not attached. Then this part, I'm going to go right click, convert to editable poly, go to this. Okay. I'm going to just select polygons. I'm going to select all this polygon, and then I'm going to go grow. Just going to make sure that this is going the right way. And as I said, I'm going to grow up to here, and then I'm going to use the same kind of material. So it's kind of the same thing, okay, but two different ways. Cool. Great. I'm just going to end my isolate. Just going to make sure that my cups are here so I can see them properly. I'll just make sure this is grouped. I'm going to select this, control the other one, group. I'm just going to make it mug. Okay, so that's going to be my second mug. I'm just going to rotate it a bit. Just make sure the pivot point is in the center of the object. Just make sure. Rotate it. Same thing here. I'm going to rotate it the other side so it won't have any conflicts. Great. So I have two mugs now, and that's it. Now, just going to go back to my camera. Okay, and now I'm going to do a small animation. I'm just going to rotate these mugs, or I'm going to, in my case, I'm going to rotate this. Let's change this from this kind of box to a cylindrical round turntable. So I'm just going to do, because now I have two mugs. Okay, so it's going to be easier. Okay, so it's going to be something like that. And great. Now, I'm just going to add material to this object. Go to material. I'm just going to make this wood. Okay, even though it doesn't make sense, it has to be like something nice. So I'm just going to drop it as a wood. And I'm going to go to here from diffuse map. I'm going to search for bitmap to add a photo. An image or a texture. So I'm gonna go, I had this prepared, so I have it here, show, and this is it. Now, if you see this case where you had added the texture and not shown properly, so I have to add a Uvw map. So I can remap all my Uvw and just make sure I'm gonna go, in my case, into cylindrical with cap. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure my height is a bit higher. Okay, well, I can go box in my case. I think it should work. Okay, just gonna make sure it's 200 by 200. Okay, and by 200. Okay, so it's great. See, it's kind of a box. If I want this to be a box from the top and different from the bottom, let's say you want to change it to have some kind of surface, I can just model this a bit more. Let's go here. Edit poly. Okay, I'm just going to isolate it so I can see it. And I'm going to do a small adjustment to that. First of all, the cylinder, I'm just going to make sure I'm going to add more sides to it so it looks a bit more smoother. And then I will edit it. Okay, I'm just going to go polygon. in the edit poly, I'm just gonna bevel this a bit, something like that. Okay, and that's it, something like that. Great. And then I'm gonna select all these edges over here, and I'm gonna do a small chamfer. Okay, and I'm gonna select all the edges down. Okay, just gonna make sure I'm gonna select them from the front. So all these from down, Alt to deselect all the ones up, so I end up with the small ones down. Chamfer, I'm just gonna make the chamfer a bit bigger. Okay, so something like that. Okay, great. Now I can just select now this polygon, and I can just give it a small extrude. I'm gonna extrude it downward to have a small, or extrude it upward, doesn't make sense. So I can extrude it upward or downward to have this kind of thing. Okay, so I'm gonna, in my case, I'm gonna extrude a bit upward, so maybe 2 centimeters. Okay, great, that's it. So now I can just select those edges now. Okay, just make sure I have to select them from the top, or from the front, sorry. Okay, and just make sure I deselect all the ones standing up. So this is just an extra thing I'm doing now. You don't have to do it. Okay, maybe something, I'm just doing the chamfer now. Okay, maybe something like that. Done. Okay, so this is what I did. What I've done now is created a small wood thing, okay, in here, and I'm gonna have this kind of chrome or silver something, or white reflective anything. So I'm gonna go to polygons. I'm gonna select this polygon down, which is easier for me, and then I'm gonna go grow in the selection tab, grow until this face, because this is my reflective part, and I'm gonna give it a different material, which is this, and oops, okay, okay. In my case, you can see if I set the material, it's gonna select everything, because this is edit poly. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna right click, convert to editable poly, and I do the same thing. So I'm gonna select polygons, and then I'm select this, it works. Okay, so this green thing, I'm gonna make sure that this is gonna be, let's say, let's make it mirror, kind of. So I'm gonna go reflective all the way, so it's gonna be chrome, and I'm gonna turn off Fresnel reflection. It's gonna be super reflective. Yeah, I think it's not gonna work because I don't have a background. So I'm gonna make it white, okay, and I'm gonna make it super reflective. If I want, I can make it more reflective by turning IOR off and go, let's say, a bigger value, let's say 2, and I'm gonna keep the reflection glossiness as same. Okay, so now you can see I have this kind of thing, okay, as if it's a chrome rounded circle, and I have a border of wood on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go here, turbo smooth maybe, and I'm gonna smooth it out. Okay, you see now it's smoothed out. Great. And my and that's my my case. Okay, I just want to make sure, because I extruded this a bit upward, I think my mugs are falling inside. Okay, I'm just gonna move it upward. I can make something straight forward, because I made my extrude is 2 centimeters, so I can move this up by 2 centimeters. So it should be exactly the same. Okay, so we can just match it and or snap it. Okay, great. So I have these 2 mugs. Now done. Go to the camera, and this is my camera, so I can adjust my camera a bit so I can see a bit more of this. And that's it. Great. Now I want to animate. I'm gonna animate this board by rotating 360 degrees. Okay, as simple as that. And I'm gonna mix these all together as a group. So I'm gonna select them all. Group, group, turn, table. And now I can rotate them this way. Great. I'm gonna go to time configuration, make sure I'm gonna go pol in my situation, and I'm gonna make this 125, which is 5 seconds. 125, or let's make it 150, 6 seconds. Okay, because pol is 25 frames per second. And so I'm gonna turn on auto key. Okay, auto key, and from 0 I'm gonna start here, at the end I'm going to make sure this is rotated 360 degrees. Done. So now this is my animation. Okay, I can see both mugs. Turn it around. Well, in my case, this is ease in, ease out situation of animation. So I'm going to right click here, go to curve editor. I'm just going to make it linear. Okay, so just going to select the rotation Z and make it linear. Make sure I hold the other one and make it linear. So it's going to be linear. So the difference is in here. So if I play, it's going to be constant rotation, no ease in and out. So it's not accelerating, no decelerate. So it's going to be still turning, especially if I'm going to be looping this. It's going to be perfect. Okay, great. So this is my animation done. Now I'm just going to make sure my render setup and then lighting. So I'm going to go render setup. I'm just going to make sure I'm going to be rendering all the animation, which is 150 frames. And I'm going to go HD, HDTV. I'm just going to go low res because it's going to take, I don't want it to take a lot of time to render. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to save this file inside my folder. I'm going to turning table. And the format, I'm going to go QuickTime. Okay, save. And then the compressions, I'm going to go H.264 best quality. That's it. Done. Okay, so this is my case. And now all is set. Now I can work with my my camera. Just go show save frame. This is my save frames. And now I can fix this a bit further. Something like that. I'm just going to take a bit of this turning table. Just going to make it move a bit to the side to make sure it's centered. And that's it. So now I'm just going to be doing this rotation on and on. All right. So after that, we're just going to go and start with the lighting. Okay. If I do a if I go as a quick render, you can see that's dark. Okay, so instead of going dark, I'm just gonna select this render element, render setup, sorry, and go to GI and turn this off. Okay, I'm just gonna go here also, and I'm not gonna save. I'm gonna go single again because and don't save the file. I'm gonna go render, and you will see the render that I'm doing. Okay, this is my render. I want another thing to be done, okay, which is the material of the wood, okay, and make sure my wood material has reflection. So I'm gonna go reflection all the way down, and that's it, okay. So I have reflection of the wood, and I can try it again, rendering, render, and you see my reflection of the wood, okay. I want it to be a bit blurred, so I'm gonna go glossiness, and I'm going to go 0.8, and I'm going to do it again one time, and you see it's a bit blurred now. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to go into lighting to light this view so I can see it better. I'm just going to go to perspective so I can see it better. So this is my view. I'm going to go create light. I'm going to create vray light. And in my case, I'm going to create a vray light plane. So just click and drag for this plane. Just going to make sure it's rotated 90 degrees. I'm going to put it somewhere here. Make sure it's going to be somewhere up. And I'm going to put it here. It's going to be a small light. Okay, so that's it. I just have my light selected. And I'm just going to go make my render a bit HD so you can see it better. And I'm gonna render. This is my light. You can see my light's coming from this side. This side is a bit darker, but I think it's fine as is. But anyway, if I want to change that, okay, I'm just gonna change that. So multiplier is basically the intensity of the light to make it stronger or lighter. Just gonna make it a bit lighter, let's say 20. I'm just gonna make the light not 100% white. I'm just gonna give it a bit of yellow, okay, to it, and I'm gonna try it again. So now you see it's a bit warmer and it's a bit less light. Great, I think it's nice. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just gonna move this slide, shift and drag. I'm gonna copy the slide to the other place, the opposite side. I'm gonna rotate this. I'm gonna move it a bit to this side and make sure it's lighting this area. And I'm gonna keep the density the same, and I'm gonna render again. Okay, so now I have kind of even light, same intensity of the lights. Everything is seen kind of good. Okay, I think I have a problem here. It seems like the limbo, this background is not touching. See, it's not touching. So I'm just gonna move it a bit upward. Make sure it's snapped. Snap to the lowest point. Okay, so that's it. So now it's gonna be a bit better. All right, so I think the light is good. I can do something crazy with the light. Let's say change the color. Let's say I'm gonna give it kind of color, the one on the left, and I'm gonna render. So here it's gonna be pinkish, and from here it's gonna be maybe, I think it's too much pink. I'm just gonna make it a lighter pink, something like that. And the other one is gonna make it a lighter yellow, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to combine two colors together, a bit of light pink in here, a bit of light yellow in here. So that's depending on what you're looking for. I think I'm going to add one more light. It's going to be from the top. So I'm going to create one light, which is a stripe light. Okay, something like that. Maybe. Just going to make sure I'm going to move it upward. And I'm going to rotate it something like that, around 45 degrees. And I'm going to make this light a bit light, small light, let's say intensity 5. I'm going to keep the color to be white, and I'm going to render this. Okay, I think now it's lit properly, and everything is good. I can see the inner part, I can see the outer part, I can see the reflections in here and in here. Everything is great. Good. Now we're done. So if I want to render this as high-res render, so I'm going to cancel now. I'm done with it. It looks great. If I animate this, it's going to be animated greatly. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, go to render setup again. I just want to double check because I don't have my GIs off. So I'm going to turn on my GI first, and I'm going to double check my render. So I'm going to turn off GI and render again. So now with the GI, the render quality is going to be different. The lighting is going to be bouncing in a different way. As you can see, this distribution of light is better. Okay, so I think it's good. I think it's a bit overexposed in here. Okay, so I'm going to cancel it, and I'm going to lower all my lights again. I'm going to go here, make this instead of 20, I'm going to make it 10. This instead of 20, I'm going to make it 10 also. And the one up, instead of 5, I'm going to make it 2. So let's try again. I think that is good. This is great. Okay, I don't want it to be super bright. I want it to be a bit more realistic. Okay, I think it's great. I'm gonna do something. That's okay. I'm gonna keep it like this. Okay, I'm just gonna make my light a bit stronger. The ones coming from up. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it at 5. It was at 2. I'm just gonna keep it at 5, and I think should work. Okay, great. Now I need to go render setup. I'm gonna render the whole animation. Just gonna make sure it's full HD if I want it to be high res. I'm gonna save my file as I said before because I already saved it. I'm gonna go to vray tab. I'm gonna go progressive. I'm gonna set my render time to be, if I want it to be high res, I'm gonna go, let's say 10 minutes. In my case, I'm gonna keep it 1 or maybe a bit less, maybe 0.2. I just want to do the animations. I don't want it to take a lot of time, so you can see it. GI, brute force light cache. It's a good combination. In the light cache, if you go high res, it's gonna be like 1500. If you want to go medium res, it's gonna be 1000, and low res is like 100 or 200. So I'm gonna go medium res. let's say something in between medium and low, so it doesn't take a lot of time, and that's it. I'm not going to add render elements, which is passes, so I don't want to divide my render, and I'm going to go save, or render in my case. So I'm going to go this view, make sure this is where I'm going to render, and I'm going to press render, and it's going to take a bit of time. I'm just going to check the first render if it's all correct, then I'm going to pause my video and then go back when it's done. So we're going to wait to see kind of how much it's going to take time. So I set my render time to be around 0.2. I think it's too small. So it's taking 15 seconds each frame, so it's going to take me around half an hour to render the whole sequence. So it's going to be very low res, but it's going to take like almost 40 minutes to continue to finish this very primitive render. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video now. I'm gonna keep this rendering for 38 minutes and then come back and show you the final result. Okay, here the render is done, and you can see my final output. It's definitely a very low res, but this is it. 360 degrees rotation of my two mugs. Okay, thank you for watching.